An Omaha cancer patient is looking forward to brighter days in the new year, starting with a remodeled home.
But that's where she gets shocking news from another kind of expert. In tonight's 6 on Your Side investigation, Mike McKnight shows us the dangers of remodeling work done without proper permits.
While chemo treatments have cancer in remission, Tammy Winther gets a shocking diagnosis on her home improvement project.
It is by far the worst that I have ever seen. When it comes to the electrical, whoever installed the electrical system was putting you in danger.
A team of licensed remodeling experts found several hazards in Tammy's house.
This is going to fail. There could be a joint that's loose in there. You could have water going down the wall, whatever, but this is not supposed to be moving.
An Omaha plumbing inspector reports the kitchen and 2 bathrooms have been remodeled without permits or inspections.
How bad does it look?
It's not, I can tell a professional didn't do this.
From plumbing to electrical, there are safety concerns.
This switch isn't a switch from the problems that the electricians are finding. They're concerned about the wiring and what they might find in here. And this is a bedroom.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous, especially in a bedroom. I mean, you could have kids sleeping in here. So that's not something we want.
Tammy says she and her boyfriend paid Rodney's Renovation and Remodeling more than $12,000, and the contractor's contract lists plumbing and electrical work.
We have to, as consumers, do our research and find out everything we can about whomever we're going to give our money to.
The owner of Rodney's Renovation and Remodeling says he's registered with the Nebraska Department of Labor, but the city of Omaha requires a contractor's license, and the planning department tells me he doesn't have one. The contractor claims Tammy insisted on not pulling permits.
We stood right here and discussed permits. I asked him what we needed to do.
Tammy estimates it will cost her and her boyfriend about $50,000 to have licensed electricians, a plumber, and a general contractor to redo the work on the house they plan to share together.
This was supposed to be my forever home. I sold my house to do all this because I don't want to be alone when I get sick again.
Though battling cancer, Tammy hopes to live many years in a home being made safe by licensed professionals who promise to do the job right. On Your Side near 96th and Q, Mike McKnight, 6 News.
The owner of Rodney's Renovation and Remodeling, Rodney Krimmel, says the electrician he had come to the house claimed the home already had messed up wiring. The Krimmel didn't say if electrical work was performed. As for plumbing, the contractor says he used a private guy to plumb in the new shower. The contractor claims he had good reasons for walking away from the project. Rodney Krimmel also claims he had a Class E contractor's license with the city, but may not have renewed it. Anyone who wants to verify permits can check on the Omaha Planning Department's website.